Welcome back to my channel, DebtFree CF. I'm going to go over my June 2018 budget plan for the month. You'll see that on the left-hand side, I've got set up my actual budget. So ignore the entire right-hand side if you get overwhelmed, you're just starting out and you just need an example of budgeting. The right-hand side for me is tracking my baby steps as I follow the plan that Dave Ramsey has constructed. I am a little bit lenient with that. I'm not exactly to the T hardcore. And then I also kind of keep track of some of my sinking funds. So on the left-hand side, I've got my estimated column that I filled in with some of the numbers. I did make a slight adjustment to what I estimate my monthly income will be based off of last month. My actual income was about $300 short of what I had estimated, so I did reduce that a little bit just to try to be as accurate as I can ahead of time. And then in the actual column, I'm tracking what I've already received from the last payment in May, where part of the check covers the last week of May and part of the check covers the first week of June. That way, if I needed to make any immediate payments, if I didn't have an emergency fund, I could use what was sitting in the bank. But I do have an emergency fund, so I'm really working a month ahead. If something unexpected comes up, I can pull it out of the extra money and then restock that on the next paycheck. And then, of course, the other amount is I do live with a roommate with whom I split a number of bills, so that's in there as well. The grocery budget of $200 is a new adjustment, a little bit lower than it has been in the past. Part of that is because my work provides one meal a day when I work, but I've reduced that. Last month I did not go over, which is probably one of the first times in a couple of months. I anticipate that I may use up to 225, but my goal is around 200. Already put in the utilities because the bill amounts are sent usually the 20th to the 30th or the 22nd to the 28th, somewhere in that range, and then pay within 2 weeks, like by the 10th or 12th of the month. And then I do anticipate having to fill up a vehicle once in the month. Because gas went up, that should be around $35 probably instead of closer to $30. My rent and cell phone stay the same. I do anticipate paying for some pet sitting. If you watched my May recap, I knew what the value was for pet sitting coming up, but it turns out I don't actually get charged and pay that until right before the sitting starts. So I've got that allotted, and that is going to be cash flowed rather than pulled out of the sinking fund, because even though I can know of pet sitting ahead of time, usually by a month or so, I don't know at the beginning of the year how much pet sitting I'm going to need over the course of the entire year. Versus the sinking fund, I almost always know exactly how much vaccinations, licensing, and food costs are going to be. Then I have my health insurance that I pay on a monthly basis, my car insurance that I put into a miniature sinking fund. So over here I've got the sinking fund set up. I needed a total of $220 in the 6-month window. I'm a few cents over, negligible, and within this month, towards the end of it, I'm going to withdraw that in cash and give it to my mom when I see her, because I am on a family plan. And then I have a couple of different things that I know are coming up, a couple of gift ideas for some birthdays that are approaching. I pulled out some cash that I'm going to use on a trip towards the end of the month, extra spend money for a few things that might come up over the weekends. So this might be a little bit low of an estimate. It may go up to about 250 instead of 235. And then I am registering for some classes for the fall, and then I'm also adding a few exercise classes over the next couple of months. So I know that some of the costs for that are exact because I registered for them, and then the rest, like school supplies, textbooks, and so forth, I'll see what those are probably in August. And then I do want to send in another $1,000 to my Roth IRA I haven't sent it yet, so this will change what my tally is. I'm going to set it equal to this. On the right hand side, my tally, I'm setting the cell equal to, on the left hand side, the cell where I've allotted the amount to go to the account. I'll probably send it towards the end of the month because I need to look at how I want to distribute it to a couple of different funds in my Roth IRA. And then the remaining variance amount is related to how much is going to end up in savings. Now, it is a good idea to prioritize savings and pay yourself first if you know that you're going to have extra. I count maxing out my Roth IRA as soon as I can, so getting that done in the first half of the year. I count that as paying myself because it's paying my future self. And then after I've taken care of all of that, then the savings category becomes the priority rather than retirement because I can't contribute anymore. And then if I feel like I'm not getting towards some of my goals fast enough, I will fill it in with more numbers and take out some of the expenses for just things that are for fun, miscellaneous. Oops, I didn't update the left-hand side from last month, 310705, 310705 for the car replacement. All right, excellent. So I've got a little bit that's going to be left to allocate that I've not yet done. And I'll take care of that at the end of the month or at my check-in. I'll try to reconcile it. So that's pretty much the plan. I'll fill them in as I make actual charges. I do know that a few of these planned charges I've already done. The $30 is for the upcoming weekend, but I think that takes care of everything in terms of the plan. This plan does include that I know I'm traveling, so it includes free spending souvenir stuff for travel. The accommodations are already paid for months and months and months in advance, so that's not a factor here. And then I'm traveling with my mom, so the car rental and some of the meal stuff will be covered. So it looks pretty good. If I have any numbers I need to adjust, I'll do that at the check-in. And so I do encourage you to come back halfway through the month and see how I'm doing. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. I do respond, and take care. Thanks for watching.